Bechoros Daf Zayin. We're continuing with the sugya of nidma. If a kosher animal gives birth to something that looks like a kosher animal, a sheep gives birth to something that looks like a goat. So if it has no resemblance to the mother, it's part from bechora. But if it has resemblance to the mother, it's chayv bechora. How much resemblance? The Chachamim say any resemblance, and according to Reb Shimon, it has to be rosh v'rubai. Its head and most of its body has to look like the mother. What about if you have such an animal, according to Reb Shimon? When can you eat the offspring? Do you need rosh v'rubai or not? And the Gemara comes out the maskana. You need rosh v'rubai according to Reb Shimon in order to be able to eat the offspring. According to Reb Yeshua, as long as the animal is similar to the mother, you're allowed to eat it. Yet, Reb Yeshua says that you have to make sure that the father is a kosher animal. We care about the father. If the father is not kosher, it's usher to eat the offspring. Even though typically Reb Yeshua holds zev goyrim mutter. In other words, if you have a combination of two things, two factors that create something, such as a mother treifa and a father not treif, the offspring, says Reb Yeshua, is mutter on the mizbeach. So how come over here he says it's usher to eat it? Because the pasuk says ksavim, which means plural of sheep. So you need that both the mother and the father should be sheep. And it says izim, same thing. You need both to be goats. Rebbe Eliezer, who typically holds zev goyrim usher, over here he holds that it's mutter to eat the offspring of a father that's not a kosher animal. Why? Because since the Torah says the word seh twice, you learn from the extra word, as long as the mother is a seh, she's a sheep, we don't care that the father is a non-kosher animal. Now, continuing with this machlokes of Rabbi Yeshua and Rabbi Eliezer, the Gemara says, how is it possible, according to Rabbi Yeshua, that a father is not kosher, yet he has offspring? He holds that a non-kosher animal cannot impregnate a kosher animal, just like a large animal can't impregnate a smaller animal. Rabbi Eliezer mechulek on him, but how does Rabbi Yeshua hold it? Says the Gemara, obviously he has to hold like Rabbi Shimon, that the father is not a real non-kosher animal. He's the son of a cow, but he himself doesn't look like a cow. He has, let's say, unsplit hooves. And halachically, according to Rabbi Shimon, that's considered completely tamei. But from here, l'chayr is a raya, because Rabbi Shua holds that even if it's slightly like the mother, looks slightly like the mother, you're allowed to eat it. So Rabbi Shimon should also hold like that. Why does Rabbi Shimon hold rosh v'rubai? Says the Gemara, no, he'll hold like Rabbi Shimon in one thing and argue in the other. He holds like Rabbi Shimon that this animal is considered a non-kosher father because he doesn't have split hooves, but he doesn't hold like Rabbi Shimon that you need rosh v'rubai, or even if it resembles slightly, the offspring resembles slightly the mother, you can eat from it. The Gemara talks about meraglayim of a donkey. The urine of a donkey, can you drink it or not? Is it kosher? Says the Gemara that the urine of a horse and a camel is for sure kosher because it's water that goes into the animal and comes out of the animal. But the donkey's urine is discolored. So perhaps it got some nutrients, it got something from the donkey and therefore it should be treif. Or perhaps no, maybe it just flowed through the animal and the heat of the donkey caused it to be discolored. The other way to learn the Gemara is that nobody had a question about a horse and a camel because nobody drinks that. But people do drink the meraglayim of a donkey because it has healing powers for jaundice or other diseases, and therefore we had a shaila, and the Gemara says, according to Rav Sheshes, that it's usher to drink. Why? Because the Mishnah says, Kol hayotze min hatamei. The Mishnah should have said, hayotze mehatamei. Min, you could also translate as min mem yud nun. It's the breed of a tamei. Anything that goes into a tamei becomes part of the tamei, and in mela, it's usher. The Gemara says it's similar to machlokes by honey. Bees honey, according to Rabbi Yaakov, is mutter to eat because there's a special pasuk, and therefore only bees honey, but not the honey of a wasp, let's say, because wasp honey would not be included in the pasuk because it's wasp honey, it has another name, whereas bees honey is called honey. According to Chachamim, the reason why we can eat honey is because it's logic, that it doesn't have anything that imparted from the bee. Nectar goes into the bee, and now comes honey. It's a process, but it doesn't take anything from the bee. So therefore, wasp honey would also be mutter to eat, as grasshopper honey or whatever. The difference between bee honey and wasp honey would be that bee's honey becomes automatically food and becomes tamei tumas soichlin. You don't have to designate it as food because it's always food. Wasp honey, a person has to say, I want this to be food, and only then it becomes food and tamei. What about something called or hapanim? It's the membrane or something like the placenta that sticks to the face of a donkey or even a human baby. Says the Gemara, it's not from the mother, it's not from the father. It's just waste, and therefore you could eat it. And when it comes to human placenta on the face. It's also not from the mother and not from the baby, and therefore, even if both of them, Rahman al die, there's no tumah to this Ar Hapanim. Very interesting halacha. What if you find a fish, a full fish, in another fish? Can you eat it if it's a tummy fish, let's say? Says the Gemara, a kosher fish always lays eggs. A non-kosher fish carries and is pregnant with its babies. Therefore, if you find a full fish in a kosher fish, and it's a tummy fish, you should know that it's a tummy fish because it can't be its own baby because it doesn't have babies, it only has eggs. But if you find a kosher fish in a non-kosher fish, the halacha is, according to Rav Ashi, you're allowed to eat it even if you didn't see it swallow it. According to others, you have to watch the swallowing. And even if you watch the swallowing, you have to make sure that this is the fish that you saw that it swallowed, and not maybe its own baby. How do you make sure? 3 ways the Gemara says. Either you watch it, you found it in its swallowing pipes, in its esophagus, or you found it on the way out as waste, where a baby wouldn't be there. Or you find a full-fledged grown fish, and that's not how fish are pregnant. They're much smaller, and you know for a fact this is a fish that you saw swallowed. The Gemara says that anything that gives birth or it's pregnant with has the ability to nurse its young, and anything that lays eggs doesn't have the ability to nurse its young. It just gathers for the young food. Besides a bat can get pregnant and lay eggs and nurse its young. In our days, we know the bats that we have are mammals, and they give birth to their young and they can nurse. So perhaps the Gemara is talking about there's other birds, there are other ducks that can lay eggs and nurse, but that's not what the Gemara really refers to when it says atalev. And finally, very interesting, this is the Gemara of mermaids. The Gemara says that the dolphinin can be impregnated by human beings, and says Rashi, we're referring to a half a fish and a half a human known as a mermaid. Others explain that we're talking about the real dolphin that we know today, which is friendly to humans, chases boats, has intelligence, and therefore that's the dolphin. But Rashi clearly is referring to mermaids. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you Be'ez Hashem tomorrow.